The November rain drummed softly against the windows of Bella Vista, a cozy little restaurant that had become Chef Marco Romano's second home, and in many ways, his sanctuary. At 36, Marco had traded the glamour of city fine dining for something far more precious: time with his 4-year-old daughter, Isabella. The restaurant wasn't much, but every brick, every light, every recipe held a piece of his heart. That Tuesday evening was quiet, just the hum of the kitchen, and the soft scratch of crayons as Isabella colored at the corner table. Her golden curls shimmered under the warm medicine bulbs her father had hung himself. "Papa, I'm hungry," she said, holding up a picture of what looked suspiciously like a purple elephant. Marco smiled. "And what would my little chef like tonight?" "The soup that tastes like hugs," she said with conviction, meaning her favorite. His special butternut squash soup, kissed with cinnamon and a hint of vanilla. "Of course, pica la mia," Marco said, kissing her head. "But first, Papa needs to finish the prep for tomorrow." Sound, door chime, distant rain grows louder. The door swung open. A woman entered, drenched and exhausted, juggling an umbrella, a briefcase, and a crying baby carrier. Her sleek navy suit and neat bun spoke of wealth, but her trembling hands told another story. "Are you still open?" she asked, voice tight with fatigue. It was past closing time, but Marco couldn't ignore the desperation in her eyes. "Of course," he said gently. "Please, come in." Her name was Catherine Blackwell, founder and CEO of a billion-dollar firm, a woman known in business circles for being unshakable. Yet tonight, she looked utterly broken. "I'm sorry," she said, setting the carrier down. "She's been crying for hours. I've tried everything. She's hungry, but she won't take the bottle." Marco's instincts as a father took over. "May I?" he asked softly, reaching toward the baby. Catherine hesitated, then nodded. The moment Marco held the baby, his tone shifted low, warm, reassuring. "Ciao, bella ragazza. What's troubling you?" Miraculously, the baby's cries began to soften. Catherine blinked in disbelief. "She's hungry," Catherine explained, "but the nanny always made the bottle like this." Marco tested a drop and frowned. "It's too cold." Babies this age, like their milk body temperature, just like their mothers. Body temperature. Catherine looked bewildered. "Every baby's different." Marco smiled. "My Isabella was the same way, picky about temperature, and everything else." He took the bottle to the kitchen, warmed it in a pan of water, checking it with the care of a jeweler, examining gold. "Exactly 37 degrees. He called. "Not more, not less. Learned it from my Nona." While he worked, Isabella wandered over to Catherine. "Your baby is really pretty," she said earnestly. "Is she sad?" "She's hungry," Catherine admitted, smiling weakly. "Papa can fix anything," Isabella declared confidently. When Marco returned, the results were instant. The baby drank peacefully, her cries replaced by soft, contented sighs. Catherine watched in awe. "How did you know what to do?" Marco smiled. "When you're a single parent, you learn to listen differently. Every cry has its own meaning." "Single parent," Catherine repeated quietly. Marco nodded. "Isabella's mother left when she was 6 months old. Said motherhood wasn't what she expected. We figured things out, just the two of us." Catherine's voice trembled. "I've run a billion-dollar company, but I can't figure out how to feed my own daughter." Marco pulled out a chair. "What's her name?" "Sophia," she whispered. "A beautiful name. It means wisdom." Catherine sighed. "I'm trying to balance work and motherhood, but I feel like I'm failing at both." "No baby is difficult," Marco said kindly. "They just have needs that haven't been understood yet." Soft violin fades in as Isabella colored nearby. She chimed in. "I used to cry a lot, too, right, Papa?" Marco chuckled. "You weren't difficult, you just needed things your own way." He turned back to Catherine. "Some babies need quiet, some need warmth, but all babies, they need to feel safe." He looked at her kindly. "When was the last time you ate?" Catherine hesitated. "This morning, maybe yesterday, and slept more than 2 hours." She gave a weary smile. "I honestly can't remember." "Then first," Marco said, standing up, "you need a meal made with care." Together with Isabella, he began to cook a simple soup, fragrant and warm, the kind that wraps around you like a blanket. When he set it in front of her, the aroma alone made Catherine's eyes fill with tears. "It tastes like comfort," she whispered. Marco smiled. "The secret ingredient is intention. When you cook for someone you love, the food carries that love." Catherine looked at her sleeping baby. "I don't think I know how to do that, to love her the way she needs." Marco's voice softened. "You don't need to be perfect. Just present. That's what children need most." Little Isabella climbed onto her chair, holding up her drawing. "Look, my elephant has wings. She helps baby elephants who don't have mamas." Catherine's throat tightened. "Do you miss having a mama, sweetheart?" Isabella thought hard, then said, "Papa says love is like puzzle pieces. Some families have mama pieces, some have papa pieces, and some just have the pieces that fit." Catherine smiled through tears. "You taught her that." "She taught me," Marco said quietly. Gentle instrumental swells that night. Catherine left Bella Vista with a full heart and something she hadn't felt in months: hope. Over the next 6 months, she returned often. Marco became her teacher, not in business, but in love. Isabella and Sophia became inseparable. Laughter echoing through the little restaurant as meals simmered and lessons unfolded. Catherine learned to warm bottles just right, to breathe, to slow down, to find joy in the quiet moments. Her company still thrived, but now it served her life instead of consuming it. And in her kitchen, framed on the wall, hung Marco's recipe for butternut squash soup, a recipe that had become so much more than food. It was a recipe for connection, patience, and love. Because sometimes, the most valuable lessons don't come from boardrooms or books, but from the gentle art of caring for someone else. Music softens. This story reminds us that success isn't just measured in profits or titles, but in peaceful nights, shared laughter, and the warmth of knowing you're truly loved. If this story touched your heart, give it a like, share it with someone who might need a reminder of what really matters, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness, where every story celebrates the quiet power of love, empathy, and connection.